just want to share how my life evolved because I want to give you hope. Although I shared with you that I would go after things, and I would do things that my friends weren't doing. Like I would hang out with them as I got, the age of 14, 15, and 16, and 17. I would hang out with them and I would be doing things that I shouldn't be doing, trying to, fit in. But then I had this other side of me that would go after things in my life that my friends weren't going after. And I always felt I was alone in that. Like, who in my circle would want to even do that? So a lot of times I wouldn't even mention what I was going to do, or even if I did mention it to people around me, there was lack of interest. I wanted to do things differently. I wanted to live life based on what I love doing. I wanted to live life based on my passion. I wanted to live life even if it wasn't in agreement with other people. But because of the trauma that I experienced, and this is really important, ladies, and even men who may be watching this, the trauma that I experienced of being raised without my father, and I knew him, but he was inconsistently in my life, that left me with the message that I can't rely on men. It took away my sense of safety. Father's role is to provide safety for his family, for his children, and I didn't experience that. I didn't feel that sense of safety. So which made me develop what they call the daddyless daughter syndrome. I did begin to see it in my mother as I got older, when she did something that I embraced so much. And I thank God my mother took the steps to seek therapy. And the traumas that I'm speaking about specifically, the trauma of domestic violence, sexual assault, daddyless daughter syndrome, those traumas tend to be generational. So although my mother rightfully so didn't have this discussion about what she went through, she clearly went through some form of trauma. And as I watched her go to therapy, I watched her life get better. The more she attended therapy, the more she got healed, and the more she began to soar. I witnessed her going back to school, getting her degrees. I saw that. Thank God, because my mother gave me a roadmap that was in the back of my head, even though I made wrong decisions by getting involved and remaining in unhealthy relationships. I kept registering in my head that my mother changed her life. She began to become happier. She began to leap. This life that I was living, although I was living it, it was so frustrating. The frustration was, I'm living this life and it keeps me attached to people and it causes me to feel a part of, because I was lacking in that, because my father wasn't around to provide that safety. Because of that, I went on a search for it. At some point in my life, needing to feel loved and wanted and a part of superseded my drive to leap. But after I said enough is enough, I began my journey. I began to heal, and I began to notice, just like my mother, the more I healed, the more my life got better. And I then began my journey of transformation. I applaud anyone that leaves those situations. I left it, and I know how hard it is to leave those situations, but I also know those situations don't automatically heal the pain. What goes on in the mindset of someone who just says, I'm gonna leap? But if you're following me and you're following this video, there's a high chance that there was something that you latched onto to cope with pain that you know that wasn't healthy. That you were telling yourself, I'm not supposed to be here. This does not fit the plan I have or my God has for my life. This is not it. Even as I've got out of stuckness on that level, it's important for you to understand on that level, Even after years of reaching new heights, my life got better, but then it got to a point where I got stuck again. But then there was another area of my life that I knew that was out there for me. But it was riddled with a lot of procrastination. And I didn't understand why I wasn't leaping into my next. Because see, I have the experience of someone who's experienced trauma. I'm someone who has the experience of breaking the cycle of connecting and remaining in unhealthy relationships. I'm someone who is able to break free of the alcohol and drug abuse. I did those things, but apparently it wasn't enough. So I began this journey to figure out what is really going on, that I'm not leaping. Because I had this vision in my head. But what was it? And then at that point in my life, I realized I have to go back into therapy. I have to figure this out. Something is not right. Hey ladies, let's continue the conversation with part 3.